Good morning and welcome, children, to this today's session of the English classroom. As you know, we are doing a poem, an elementary school classroom in a slum. So today we'll do the last part 3. We already have completed part 1 and part 2. So in part 3, we'll do stanza 4. Now, before going to stanza 4, I would like to give a quick recapitulation of the first 3 stanzas. In first stanza, what we have seen, the condition of the children who were sitting. One tall girl who was very weak and was bowing down before, who was strong as a sign of weakness. The poet also had referred to a child who was very lean and thin, has been compared with the paper sheet. The third one was a physically challenged boy who was physically deformed, and stated that he has inherited that physical deformity from his father, which means that perennially from generation to generation they are suffering that problem of malnutrition. Okay, and in the second stanza, we have seen the condition of the classroom. In the classroom, the beautiful pictures of valley of sunlight as sunshine, of the richness and luxuries of the world, like big buildings, all these things, sheeps. Okay, those were there, but actually that was not the real world or map for them. Their real world was the world which they could see through the window of the classroom, and what they could see, their slum. Okay, so what is the ultimate suggestion is that their life was there was no hope in their life. Their life was hopeless. Okay, there was perennial darkness, eternal darkness in their life. And finally, in this stanza, in stanza 3 also, we have seen the same repercussion of that stanza 1 and 2, that how the children were suffering. Said that this Shakespeare is wicked for them, and the picture or the map of the world which has been shown to them is actually totally irrelevant, because their world is different from the mainstream world. Okay, now we'll come to the final stanza, the last stanza. Okay, yeah. Okay, now, unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs break open till they break the town and show the children to green fields, and make their world run azure on gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into the books. The white and green leaves open history theirs, whose language is the sun. So quickly we'll try to understand what the poet wants to say here. It's an appeal to the people who are in power, the government, okay, the governor, inspector, all those people, because the poet said that if they don't help these children, then their life will be perennially they will have to suffer. Okay, this map becomes their window. This map means the real map of their life, means the slum that could be seen through the window of the classroom, that will become a permanent impression in their life. Okay, that will become a permanent image of their life. These windows of the classroom, okay, that shut upon their lives like catacomb, and that will always keep them confined, away, isolate from the real world of civilized world. Now he appealed people, open. He appealed the people to break this restriction, this barrier, okay, this isolation. Otherwise they will break the town one day. Means that is going to affect the people in the cities also. Or cities also means the people of the mainstream life. And how the children and show the children means allow the children to read, okay, to enjoy life, to see the beauty of nature, and then only their life will become, you know, good and enjoyable. And this is a responsibility of the people who are in power. And history there, whose language is the some said that the history has been created by those only who had the power, and say that history say that the people uh, who are learned, who read books, okay, got education, they only understand the real value of life. So now we'll go to the line by line, understanding of this stanza. So the first line, unless governor, teacher, inspector visited. Okay. Now we'll see. Someone must intervene to change this cycle of neglect and decay, this constant decay, or the like change must come in their life. Okay, someone must have to intervene, and who will intervene? The government, those who are in power. Okay. Now this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their life like catacomb. Okay, I will see the windows which show these students the scene of the slum outside close upon their lives like catacomb. Means what? As I said, first this word, this map. This map means what? The map of the world which can be seen by the children through the window of the classroom. That is their real world, and say that map or that world will prevail upon them for eternity if there is if no change comes. Okay, now said what? That, and these windows and the windows of the classroom will become will continuously isolate them from the real world or the mainstream world. Okay, the windows which show these children, these students, the scene of the slum outside close upon their lives like catacomb. Now we'll see the meaning of catacomb there. What's the meaning of catacomb? Catacomb is a series of underground tunnels used for burying dead people. Unless something is done, their environment becomes like graves. That's what is the suggestion. That catacomb, if you see your text, you'll see the meaning. What's the meaning given there? The catacomb is actually the small hole that remain on the underground grave. Okay, now we'll see that the same thing he has brought this analogy to make the readers understand that if no change is brought in the life of the children, then they will always for eternally they will live like that, and generation after generation they will feel that have to have that suffering. Now let's see, so unless a governor, inspector or visitor feels pity on these students, okay, and encourages them, these children will be doomed. So something must be done, and who will do? The governor, inspector or visitor. He has said inspector, visitor means to the people who are in power. Now break open till they break the town. What's the suggestion here? The children must have to we'll see here now. The children must have access to better education and a better way of life. So this is the ultimate appeal of the poet to the people. Okay, now note the repetition of break. This is the poet's call. This is the poet's appeal actually, for them to break free them from the social injustice. Okay, social injustice. Now break away from these miserable circumstances through education. And education is the only way through which this barrier can be done away with. Okay, now what is the suggestion of the poet for the people? He appealed people and show the children green fields. Say, Dad, show them the green fields. Okay, green fields here with the create hope and inspiration. so that they can continue their life like any other children. Now, and make their world run azure on gold sand. Now here, run azure mean run on the under the blue sky, okay, and run on the golden sands of the beach, okay. So brighten up their life. This is the request of the poet for the people of the world. And let their tongues run naked into books, the white and green leaves open. He said, give them a hunger for knowledge, okay, give them the opportunities to study, to go to school, to read, okay, and show the children green fields and make their world run azure on gold sands, and let their tongue run naked into books and white and green leaves open. These are all metaphors emphasizing that they need better educational opportunities so that they can have better lives. Okay, this is the ultimate appeal of the poet, that allow them to get better education opportunities so that they can enjoy better life. Now, these are all images that portray a world without boundaries, in contrast to their dismal, restricted world. In the slum, they are leading a dismal and restricted world because they are being isolated from the mainstream of the children of the world. Okay, so he said that boundary, that wall, okay, must be cracked. That's why he appealed, oh break, oh break. Okay. Now we'll see, history is there, language is the sun. Education is the only means of upliftment. Okay, one can develop their life themselves only with the help of education. Okay, now one can make a mark in history by outshining others. To glow like the sun, they have to break free from the constraints of their slum lives. Okay, they will shine brightly after being educated only. So this is the suggestion of the people. So we'll say that how the children should be allowed to lead a life. What does the poet want the children of the slums to do? Yes, get rid of dull, dreary rut of school. They should have opportunity to experience the joys and beauties of the world outside. They should experience life in the lap of nature. They should break free, become aware of their rights and be educated. What about us? We must appreciate the educational opportunities that we have. So this is a suggestion of this stanza. Okay. Now we'll see the summary of stanza 4. Okay, the poet says that the government should take notice of the problems being faced by these kids. He urges them to change the life of these kids and make the world map a reality for them. There is a need to break the restrictions which are put on them due to poverty and lack of resources. He wants the governor and public to help these kids in achieving their dreams, as this will take them away from fog to azure sky. The poet here wants to say that in this way the kids can be taken away from the darkness of their present to a bright future. He wants these children to experience the sands and the beauty of nature, as this will lead to a desire of gaining knowledge. They will then go through the white and green leaves. Here white leaves depicts book and green leaves depict nature. This will then result in their progress, and they will be able to paint a better future for themselves. So here we have come to the conclusion of this poem, and I suppose you have understood. If you have any confusion, you may contact me by writing notes through G Suite Google Classroom. Few questions have been given in the homework. I hope that you are noting down the answers of these questions. Okay, so in your homework copy, you will note down all these questions and try to answer these questions. You will get the answers from my discussion only. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and next day we are going to start a new lesson. Thank you very much.